Oh, I guess I'm live here. Am I live? I'm alive. Am I live? Am I live? Hello, all. Hello. Just here to offer my 2 cents on the new and upcoming Lord no Rings of Power. Rings of Power from Amazon. They claim they're making a show that is based on Tolkien's work. Based on Tolkien's work. Interesting. I would first I looked at some of these I guess they were trailers. I didn't really understand anything about the show by looking at the trailers. That none of the trailers didn't tell me anything. So to me, I didn't know what to make of it. What to make of the characters? The characters in Amazon's Rings of Power are there's no real way to put this kindly. They're stereotypes. They're horrible stereotypes. It's the worst thing that I've ever seen. Most of the characters that they even show you in if they act anything like their tiny little bits that they say in the prequels, or the not the prequels, but the it'll come to me in the oh come on now, I've totally forgotten. This is what happens. You get old, you forget, and then you have to like wait for a while. You're like, oh, well, what was that word? I can't remember. And then you think about it for a very, very long time, and then people, they just call you an old person, and then you move on. It is what it is. So let's move on. I don't like this new retelling, I guess, of it's not even a retelling. This new iteration of whatever the hell they want to call this is not Tolkien. It doesn't follow this. This is the problem. When you get right down to it, every story, every IP, I guess, even though I don't like to look at stories as IPs, really. I don't like that. It's a very modern interpretation of things. They're calling Robin Hood an IP now. When the hell was Robin Hood an IP? That doesn't even make any sense. I mean, anyway, I really don't understand what an IP should really be at this point in time. Like, if you want to take a story and interpret it your own way, that's just storytelling. I mean, shit, isn't that what the Bible was all about? And that got I mean, for okay, you have the old Testament, the Judaism part of the Bible, and then you have the New Testament, you have the Christian form, and then you have the Muslim, the Islamic side of it. Like, this story like kept evolving, and it turned into religions that are now prevalent in our society. And each iteration of that storytelling, like, it told the story from a different point of view, so that, like, the characters were all imagined as different people, right? Like, none of the people, I'm sure that if you asked people who the individuals were in the story, like, who was Moses, like, what did he look like? To some people, they'd be like, well, he looked like this. And then other people would be like, he looked like this. But no one really knows. And how in the fuck would we ever know? I don't know. Who cares what he looked like? It existed. I mean, that story happened, I guess. But shall we go into it a little bit deeper, right? Why would we even care? Why would we care that these stories were changed from one generation to another? And the point that I want to make here is that in the stories of the Bible, the point that I want to make is that the stories, the parables, the what is trying to be told is not changed, right? Only the people, like, are interchangeable or whatever. I mean, you can tell it from any individual's point of view, and you would kind of understand what you're talking about. The new way that they're trying to tell stories, and I think we're going to see this a lot in the new retelling of Tolkien or whatever, is that you're going to see certain people elevated and then certain people diminished, and it's going to be based on their skin color and their gender. And it's very sexist and racist retelling of a beautiful tale otherwise. And I know that the new people, these modern people, are going to be like, well, we're just retelling it to make it not sexist and racist. And it's like, yeah, but no, you're not. You're actually just you're not being equal anymore. You're just flipping the sexism and racism from like 200 years ago. Because I'm old enough to remember back in the 90s when things were pretty fucking equal. We were all pretty equal back then. Early 2000s, everyone was pretty equal. It was a beautiful inflection point, is what I want to call it. Because I didn't realize that the pendulum was just swinging. I didn't realize that we would get to the point where we are today. Like, I thought that was beautiful. I was like, wow, we're in a utopia where everyone just gets along. We're all fucking having a great time. No, I had no idea that there was like these weirdos in the background trying to fucking make our society super prejudiced. They were like, oh, how can we start a race fucking war? Oh, let's talk about colonization and how all white people are bad somehow because, I don't know, colonization? Eh, Again, like, this gets back to the start of my conversation here with the Bible. Do we really believe that the sins of the father translate to the sins of the son? Because if you do, that's fucked. You are fucked. It's not a good way to live. And again, we're all here just to have a life that is independent, that we can accomplish what we want to accomplish, not be impinged upon by other people. These are basic tenets. They're laid down, they're reinforced. And yet, some people, some modern progressive activists, think that it's okay to be all about authoritarianism, that it's good to take away the voice of somebody. It's good to take away about the action of someone, because guess what? That will make sure that someone else is justified, that someone else gets their freedom. That's fucked. That is fucked in the head thinking. Do these modern woke activists think that way? I hope the hell not. If they do, they're fucked in the head. I don't care. If we reach an inflection point, and I've been getting to this realization over perhaps the past year, 2 years, there's a certain part of the population that just have hate in their heart. They just hate. I don't know why. They love to hate. And a lot of them call themselves activists. It's weird. Like, there's a very big correlation between these people who have hate, just straight up hate in their heart, and people who define themselves as activists. And I don't like them at all. I don't want to help them. I don't want them to influence society. I don't want them to have a good time. I don't want them to have a good life. I don't even want them to have a life, if you get my drift. I don't like these people at all, because they have hate in their heart. And that hate, it, like, for some reason, it's like I feel it, and I'm like, "Oh, why are they doing this?" Cuz I just want to feel love, and their hate, like, somehow is, and I just want to stop it. I want to stop their hate. And if the only way to stop their hate is to stop them, then that's justified, because it makes me feel better. Like, I can't not feel good with these types of people around me. And you use any means necessary, because that is the freedom that is allowed in the world and our country. Again, this is it's not a bad thing to feel different. It's not a bad thing to want to see a different story told. If you don't like something, don't watch it. That's what I do for the most part. I did I go see Captain Marvel? Hell no. I didn't watch any of the Disney Star Wars, because they're not real Star Wars. It doesn't matter what people do. It really doesn't. They can take your grandfather and walk him around after he's dead, but that's not your grandfather anymore. If anyone's seen Weekend at Bernie's, you understand what I'm talking about. Once the person or the flame, once the heart of the project is dead, it doesn't exist anymore. And you can go back. That's why we have that's why writing is so good. That is why I love the fact that we can record everything, is that we can have a permanent record of these things before the person died. And to change them, by the way, or to interpret them in a different way for our mom, that's just fucking with history. And you can go fuck yourself. Don't change history. You can do your own, fucking self-made model or whatever fan fiction over there in the corner. Go over in the corner. You are go to the corner. Go to the corner. You don't get to take our history and reinterpret it. History is not for reinterpretation. History is just history. Just fucking tell it. Just tell history. Don't assign blame. Who gives a shit? What the fuck? Who gives a shit about fucking history? Who gives a shit who fucking lived and who died 100 fucking years ago? Who gives a shit? We all live now. That's what is important. You want to demonize some people because their ancestors were better than your ancestors or lesser than your ancestors? Go fuck yourself. You're going to make now worse because of fucking 100 years ago? Go fuck yourself. These stories are told to teach moral lessons. And I feel like the morality of the stories is being degraded. There is no morality in the stories being told anymore. Where's the morality in the new stories being told? In the new movies, what do the heroes do? It seems like they kill people a lot and hurt people around them. That doesn't seem like a hero to me. It seems like we're creating villains. Lots of female villains for a weird, odd thing to just add to that pile of weird crap. It's like instead of just adding villains, we're like, oh, let's transform the world to be better, and we're gonna add women, and then we're gonna make them all villains now. They're all villains. Have you seen any of the new like hero woman movies? Like none of them are good. Wanda is uh, the Scarlet Witch used to be like a misunderstood character in the comic books. Who, I mean, she wasn't horrible, but the new shows make her into a freaking. She is just a demon, a horrible demon who just wants to kill everyone. But we're supposed to sympathize with her at the end. How the fuck that's supposed to work? They tell us she's a demon, and they're like, sympathize with her. It's like, Your morality is very, very fucked up if you think I'm gonna sympathize with that bitch. Oh, son of a bitch. And then, I don't know, you had the She-Hulk thing. Man, She-Hulk. I loved She-Hulk back in the day. Oh, I loved Hulk. I loved Hulk back in the day. And, because I loved Hulk, I loved She-Hulk because of the sacrifice the Hulk had to make. And She-Hulk was funny and, she broke the fourth wall, like, but in a sexy way, usually, which was fantastic because, I was a young man and She-Hulk was sexy. Marvel did swimsuit issues back in the day. It was fantastic. But anyway, unfortunately, the new show is not like the comic at all. It's just an endless stream of misandry. And I mean that wholeheartedly. It's not feminism, it's just misandry. Like, She-Hulk is just, you can tell that the people hate men. Like, those women they're all women that wrote the show, by the way. Oh, surprise, surprise. And, like, they just hate men. Like, all the lines degrade men and tell them how shitty they are. And, if you want to do that, go ahead. But again, we're getting close to that point in society where I don't want to help people who hate me. Like, I'm just not going to do it anymore. And a lot of other people won't either. We won't help you anymore. And we do a lot of things. Go back and watch Fight Club if you want to understand. We do lots of menial tasks. It's not the big things, but it's the small things that matter. Right? Again, when you say, I don't want men in my life anymore, contemplate that before you say it. Because a lot of men will take you up on that fucking offer. And you can rot in the fucking wilderness. Again, these things, we all must be nice to each other. Let us try very hard to at least have a modicum of niceness. Like, can we just have a little bit? A little bit. I know it's hard for some people. I know it's very, very hard for some people in 2022 to say, yeah, we should probably show, white people and white men, just show them some respect. Just a little bit of respect. I'm not talking about not worship. Again, we're not talking about Lizzo worship here. We're talking about respect. Just fucking a little bit of respect. RESPECT, as one of my favorite singers would say. And again, that shows Lizzo, what the fuck are you doing? She gets accepting an award talking about being a victim? Who the fuck does that? You're 300 fucking pounds, worth millions of dollars. Winning an award, you're a victim? You are a victim. Fucking Lizzo. It's shit like that makes me want to like wish that bad things happen to her. You know what I mean? Why would you say something like that? Why? Because your skin is fucking darker than somebody else's? Because you have fucking a uterus and goddamn ovaries rather than a penis and a vagina? The fuck? What the fuck gives you the right to say shit like that? Ah, well. Fuck it, right? Here we are in the new world where people who can't even walk fucking 100 steps can have the greatest fucking life ever, even though they can't farm or build a machine or drill a well, make a house, pave a walk. Could they even clean a floor if I asked them? It's a good question. See, I like to judge people by what they accomplish in a day. As an older person, I'm not super old yet, but I'm about halfway there. And the biggest thing is that what does somebody do in a whole day? Do they do a lot? Do they do a little? I'm not afraid to say that when I was younger, I did a little. I did not do a lot. It took me a while to realize that you need to contribute. You need to do something. Some people never learn that lesson though. Some people they do nothing and then they're reinforced to do nothing continually. And so they never do anything. It is what it is, I guess. At the same time, we do need people to like actually build things in our society. You can't just we can't sit around and do nothing, all of us, and talk to each other and expect that to like somehow make a society. That's not gonna work. Oh, and some of these people, they again, but aren't we all narcissistic at heart? Which is what plays into even the larger scale things in society. Why do we think that we have this weird thing going around now that humans are responsible for global warming? Like, that's precious. You sweet, sweet toddler. You have no idea that the universe is much bigger than you, do you? The sun influences our planet more than anything else. We have nothing to do with it. The sun will kill us in an instant during one of its cycles, which it has quite often. But again, I'm not going to talk about that here because this is not a catastrophism stream. This is just a fun stream. We're just talking about fun things and society and Tolkien. This was just a Tolkien stream, really. I just wanted to rant about Tolkien. The fact that a beloved story has been usurped by a large corporation, and now this large corporation has essentially because all the problem is that I don't know how ubiquitous this is, but unfortunately, a lot of large corporations have these weird activists at different levels. And the activists are very sexist and they're very racist, to certain people that may look like me. And it's interesting to interact with these people because they don't want to be like, we live in a society where they can't be openly hostile, right? So it's almost like it's a standoff, right? Like they're waiting for you to say something, but I'm not gonna say anything. Like I don't care who the fuck you are. Like if you step to me, I'm gonna but it's weird because they think that I'm going to step to them, and so they're almost in the same state that I'm in. Like they're waiting for me to step to them, and but they're a little more hostile. Like they're trying to instigate the fight, which means that they're more racist or sexist than me. It's like, why are you trying to start a fight with me? Like, I don't want to fight you. This is not my point. Like, I don't want to fight anyone. I learned to fight, but I don't want to fight. Leave me alone, please. But they don't want to leave me alone. I don't think they want to leave anyone alone. That looks like me, by the way. um, and you can have hair, by the way, and you can be a different gender or different skin color. As long as you are a free thinker, they don't want you around. They don't want you to call out their fucking bullshit. They don't want you to stand up and be like, hey, the thing that you just said may be a little racist. you know like it doesn't require someone like me to realize that. It's just like back in the day, right? Like slavery didn't end because the black people all stood up and said, hey, we're being oppressed. No, shitloads of white people were like, yo, we can't do this. This is wrong. Why the fuck is this being perpetrated? Lots of different people got together and we were like, oh, this is not a good thing. Some people still don't think that it's wrong, unfortunately, in our world today in 2022. I'm looking at you over there in the Asia Pacific place. Stop doing the things that you're doing over there. Stop. We can't keep enslaving people. It's not good. But again, here we go. I'm going to get in trouble. Going to get in trouble for looking at the wrong part of the world and blaming them for things. It is what it is. You hear things. You hear things. Anyway, no one came out. No one super chatted. But it was a great stream. I'm going to go now. It's time for bed. It's like 1 o'clock over here. Adios, everyone. Don't judge a book by its cover. But if you read the book and it sucks, do speak out.